Hello everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new in-shop concerning the Tetrarch or Tetrarch. I don't really know how we say that, so I'm gonna call it Tetrarch. And if it's not the case, and if I mispronounce it, tell me in the comments. So this tank appeared in the shop for around €3.5. Is it worth it? Let's answer this question straight. Yes, it is. It is because even if you don't want to play the tank actually and sell it for gold, you're gonna get 750 gold, which is already good for €3.5. So of course the offer is worth it because with this you also have boosters and stuff. So yeah, overall you should go for the offer if you want to spend some money. Now, for those of you who are seeking the tank just because they want to have the tank in the garage, is it a good tank? To me, the Tetrarch is the best tier 2 out there, simply for two reasons. You have an amazing mobility for a tier 2, you're gonna go around 50 kilometers per hour, you have a good traverse speed, everything is fine regarding the mobility, but also you have an amazing gun. 4.6 seconds of reload, 40 alpha damage. Nah, really, you have a good DPM for tier 2, you have a good gun depression, you're quite versatile. The only thing you don't have with this tank is probably the armor, but we're in tier 2 and at tier 2 having armor is not something a lot of tank can have, and most of them don't have armor actually. So overall, what you need to count on when you're at tier 2 is the mobility, and the Tetrarch is probably one of the best to do that. Now, how do you want to play it? It's quite simple for the Tetrarch. You can try to use its gun depression and its great mobility by combining some hull down with some wiggle when you're reloading over a ridgeline or a mountain, or even peekaboo. But in most of the situations, as long as you find a position where you can use your gun depression and therefore hide your hull just to show your turret to your enemies, you're set up. Now, of course, it's tier 2 we're talking about, so most of the time you don't really need to apply any strategy in order to win. But for those of you who are still clubbing hard, the Tetrarch can actually be a good option. With this tank, you're not gonna struggle penetrating because you already have one of the best penetration at tier 2. You will not struggle circling because of your mobility. You will not struggle doing damage thanks to your DPM. No, overall the Tetrarch has everything. And of course, a tank that has everything has to be Russian. I mean, we all know how it's going by now. I think we all know Russian tanks are a little bit privileged in this game, but that's how it is. For tier 2, we're not gonna complain. Overall, this tank is worth it. You should definitely try to get one in your garage. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this tank. Really, if you want to get one, get yours, because it's not in the shop for too long. And also, usually when it's in shop, people tend not to buy it simply because it's a tier 2. But sometimes, if you want to relax yourself, it's just like a smasher, but 5 tiers below. When I'm bored about the game, I take the smasher, I HE things and stuff. Of course, it's a one-shot, so it's not really the same playstyle. But when you're really bored about high tier, the Tetrarch can be a good idea for you to rip off all your enemies apart at tier 2. Now, of course, I don't want to encourage still clubbing, because you have to remember one thing, guys. The noobs of today are going to be the pros of tomorrow. And in order for them to grow and to appreciate the game, probably that it's a good idea to leave the noobs fighting each other rather than being a pro player going at tier 2 to fuck everything up. After all, that's your own opinion, you're entitled to your own. And yeah, if you wanna, I'm just here. I'm trying to forgive myself an apology in advance, but yeah, I'm just here to tell you if the Tetrarch is worth it. What you do with your money is none of my concern. So overall, if you want to still club and destroy some tanks, go ahead and do it. I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad, I'm not your conscience. You do whatever you want. But overall, if you buy this tank, don't try to play too often. At least for your enemies to get some rest. Now, something we forgot maybe to talk about concerning the Tetrarch, it's how small it is. And you know what it means, having a small tank. When you have a small tank, usually you have good camo values, but also it's quite hard to shoot. And if you combine the small size of the tank with the good mobility, when you are rushing at 50 kilometers per hour, most of the time people are not going to be able to shoot you. Also, maybe one thing to consider as well, you're playing against new players, and new players struggle with their accuracy, but that's logic. And maybe one thing I forgot to tell you about the tank, circling is quite effective, and it's not effective because the tank has an amazing mobility. It's effective simply because at tier 2, usually newbies are not turning their tank using both the turret and the traverse speed. So they divide their efficiency regarding traverse speed by 2, and therefore it makes it quite easy for you to circle them. That's what I'm using when I'm using my Tetrarch, that's what I'm trying, and it works fine to me at least. Maybe for you it's not gonna work, but most of the time you shouldn't struggle too much doing that. So if we sum up, the best tier 2 tank, good penetration, good gun depression, good mobility, good DPM, everything is fine, good camo values, small target. Yeah, a tank you want to have in your garage, even if it's only for the collection, it's always good to have a little Tetrarch. After all, it's your choice, you do whatever you want, but I encourage you buying it. This video is now over. I don't really have anything else to say about the Tetrarch. I didn't went for the garage settings and stuff because we were talking about the tier 2, so I thought, you know what, two good replays should do the tricks. The trick talking about the tank and show you how it performs. I'm gonna leave you here, hope you enjoyed, and see you soon.